Melbourne are very much a side on the up, and they showed that last year, and they're looking forward to taking that next step this year. So they're certainly big challenges to us in this game. Yeah, it's obviously he's worked extremely hard, and I remember saying after the day he got injured that it was surprising he wasn't as sore after the game as it looked when he went off, that he was actually already walking around pretty well. So from within 24 hours after the injury, he was ahead of schedule for what we thought, and that's panned out well for us. For what he was doing, he was always well ahead of schedule. So 6 weeks we thought would be probably the quickest initially, but seeing what he did within a week, he was already sort of a week ahead of that, and then had no setbacks, progressed, followed the program, and going back about 10 days ago, the medicos said don't rule him out of the Melbourne game. He may be available. They told us what his program was, what he had to do, and he's ticked all those boxes.
What has he been doing exactly to get back so quickly?
Just following the normal rehab program, which is doing what he was comfortable to do, running. As soon as he could start running, he was running, no worries. Straight line running, then they add in change of direction. Obviously then they add in tackling and kicking on the run, kicking around the corner. So just progressed through all those things, ticked all those boxes. The last one he had to tick was be able to do a full training session and tackling with the intensity of the match practice type stuff, and he did that late last week and on the weekend. So we're very pleased with it all. Yeah, similar role that he's been playing. So obviously spent the majority of time in the forward line with the possibility of going through the midfield.
Is there a chance he might be the sub?
Probably won't start as the sub, I'd say, but we may sub him out. That will all be dependent on the different criteria we use at each game on deciding who we sub. We generally won't, if we haven't been forced to implement a sub through injury. There's a few things we tick off on how the game's actually going and who's performing. There's a couple of guys that were fairly sore after Melbourne that would have got no training in leading up to after Hawthorn. No training if it was a week's break, but being able to give them a light 6 or 7 days and then still have 4 days to prepare has been good. But not too many. Most of them, they always, when you've got a break, they always look like they need one. That's probably what I've found in football. Same as when you get to the end of the season, they can hardly walk. But if they had another game to play, they can. He is one of their key players. There's no doubt about that. And he's a beautiful kick. So that's just one of many challenges that we'll have in the game. Well, that's a challenge. We've got to back our defenders in to do the job, back our pressure on up the field to give him more limited opportunities. So that his effectiveness in the game will be the result of a number of things, not only just his direct matchup, but how much we can put pressure on Melbourne.
Will you go with Mackenzie first up, John?
Still weighing that up. We've got a fair idea what we're going to do, but Mackenzie, has got the size and the speed and the endurance to be able to do that sort of job. So that will certainly be a matchup we would see at some stage, I would think. Doesn't change up too much, but it's just things we're more aware of going into this game with the way Melbourne move the ball and the way their forward line will be structured. So we bring in Ash Smith, who's very quick, small defender, and showed in his limited games last year he can run guys down and certainly keep up with guys if they want to try and race him back towards goal. So we certainly take all those things into account.
So it's more matching the speed.
Yeah, and as I said about who's got the ball inside their 50 the most and can hold it there and move the ball better and quicker. Yeah, big challenge. JAMAR's rucked well against us a couple of times, but he hasn't rucked against Cox yet his best for a couple of years either. So that will be a good battle to observe. Looking forward to that one. And where Martin fits in and Nat Nui, or whether it's Cox, Martin, Nat Nui, JAMAR. I think Nick's come a long way from one of his very early games on JAMAR. So it'll be a good battle. It's a little bit more sophisticated, but not a lot. It's just communication and understanding of different roles players have. Last week we didn't have the same player matched up on Rioli the whole game, and we still managed to quell his influence to a fair degree. There's a lot more of that happens where you won't have players running all the way.